And we're joined by Tracy Gray, the Conservative candidate in Kelowna-Lake Country, here on Main Street.
We are on Main Street in Lake Country, so thanks for joining me here today. I've been out door knocking in the neighborhood, and it's great to get out, boots on the ground, connecting with people. And main streets and communities are really important. It's where small businesses are, and we need to keep our main streets open.
So what are you bringing up when you're having a conversation with voters that you meet?
That's a great question. So usually, I'm outdoor knocking, and of course a lot of people are reaching out to me. And just to put it into context, so before the 2019 election, I had door knocked personally on over 30,000 doors. So it was such a great way to get boots on the ground, really listening to people. And it's something that I wanted to continue on as a member of parliament. So shortly after I was elected, when I was home on the weekends, I would get out. I was maybe only home for 30 hours, fly home Friday night, fly out on Sunday, and I would get out for a few hours and go to the doors and say, I'm your member of parliament, what's going on in your life. So it wasn't just a campaign thing that I wanted to do, but then of course COVID hit, so I had to stop doing that. So it's so great to be out again in every corner of Kelowna-Lake Country and just listen and hear what's important to people.
So what if somebody says, why would I vote for the Conservatives? What do you start with?
Well, I usually ask them what's important to them, and we have a conversation. And even if they have maybe different beliefs, it's still good input to me as well. So it's a matter of, letting them know some of the work that I've been doing, find out what's really important to them. And what I'm hearing quite consistently is that cost of living, just affordability in general. It doesn't seem to matter what age or demographic, that's a concern for everyone. So of course we know inflation, the cost of everything seems to be going up. It is going up. Cost of housing is really a concern for everyone, and so that's something that is just top of mind for everyone right across the board. And then of course we hear other things too, like free speech is very important. A lot of people are concerned with the debt that we're incurring and how we're going to pay that off. And also, for small business owners in particular, they're having a real crisis on getting workers right now. And so a lot of small businesses owners are reaching out to me saying, I'm putting ads, you probably see, ads around town or help wanted in windows, and they're not getting a lot of people applying. So we've got a real labor crisis here, and it's not just what you would consider maybe traditional hospitality. It's manufacturing, it's warehousing, it's construction, and so we need to get people back to work. I will say though, also while still supporting the hardest hit sectors like tourism and aviation and arts and culture. I mean, there's some musicians out there that really haven't had even income for a year, so we need to continue to support the hardest hit sectors, all the while also getting people back to work.
So right out of the gate, the Liberal candidate, as happens in politics, sort of focused on you a little bit on some issues that he wanted to raise. One was some comments that you made or didn't make regarding the origins of global warming, and then the other one was what you've done with the pandemic. Your leader, publicly went and got vaccinated, and he was kind of wondering why you wouldn't be doing the same thing. Maybe you could take on both of those.
Sure. So from an environmental standpoint, I've made it clear over the course of my time being a member of parliament that global warming is real, climate change is real, and there are human factors that are causing it. He may not be really familiar with some of the work that I've done because he's a former Trudeau staffer, now turned candidate, so he may not be familiar with my work in the community. My understanding is he hasn't lived here for a long time. So I've been involved through some of the committee work that I've done. We actually just finished a clean tech study. Now, unfortunately, because the Liberals called the election, that study hasn't been able to be completed and won't be tabled in the House of Commons. So that's really unfortunate. And, from an environmental point of view, too, I've really been championing to protect our lakes here from invasive mussels. I think that this is a real diversion away from some of the failures from the Liberal government. They haven't met their emissions targets, and so this is a diversion away from actually their results. On vaccines, I've been quite a strong advocate. There's lots of record of this in the House of Commons. I've spoken about it many times, making sure that we get supply here in Kelowna-Lake Country and have, consistently championed procurement. It was actually part of my role being a shadow minister to make sure we were getting vaccines into Canada and getting them distributed quickly across Canada. I've spoken about it many times in the House of Commons and have encouraged people right from the very beginning to follow, health directives and guidelines, and I have followed that myself all along the way, everything from, all of the rules that we've had to follow, including vaccines.
But you haven't quite said whether or not you got the shot.
Well, what I will say is that I'm following all of the guidelines that are being put out by the health authority, and I don't believe that people should have to declare to media or on Twitter what their health choices are.
It's pretty interesting in BC right now with these vaccine passports that we're supposed to have to gain entry into restaurants and other events. Any thoughts on that?
Well, all of that, there's a couple different levels there because that is all provincial that you're referring to. So we have to kind of keep within our jurisdictions. At the federal level, what has been talked about is vaccine passports coming into Canada because, of course, we have border control. And also the Liberals have said that they would mandate federal employees to be vaccinated and also federal regulated industries, and we've come out saying that we encourage people to follow guidelines and get vaccinated, however it should be their choice, and while that exists there has to be other mechanisms to make sure that people stay safe by utilizing rapid testing and at-home testing, and that's something that we really haven't utilized a lot in Canada. We've been championing that for well over a year. It's one of those levers that we should be using here.
Your party seems to be going up in the polls since the start of the election. You have to be happy about that. Do you have any sense of how you're doing here in particular? We don't get quite the level of polling we do at a national level, but what are your thoughts?
Well, polls are just a point in time. So I think what's more important is to be connecting with people one-on-one. I've been working, myself and our team, really hard for the constituents here and bringing their voice forward, all of their issues forward in the House of Commons. I know especially too for families and seniors and small business owners, they'll bring to me an issue, for example, and I'll think, okay, where does this fit? How can we help fix this? Is this something I can make a statement on in the House of Commons, or maybe pose a question, or maybe bring forth to my caucus as a recommendation that we can make to the government? Because of course we've been in the official opposition. So I'm always thinking, okay, how can I help people? And the feedback that we've had has been really great, that I've been able to bring things forth, whether it's constituency work or actually more at the policy level. So I'm hope that, that I'm honored with still being able to do that work, and it would be an honor to continue to represent the constituents of Kelowna-Lake Country.
Great. Thanks so much for giving us a bit of your time today.
Great, thank you so much, and thanks for meeting me in Lake Country. I really appreciate it.